Thompson, and welcome to Week 4 of Passage. I am a creative artist, an entrepreneur, a college grad, and a lover of pretty much all things nature. With me being an artist, I have struggled with my sense of self and confidence for pretty much as long as I can remember. But over these past 4 years, since I've graduated college, I have transformed immensely. I was really given the opportunity to learn more and more about myself and grow. And that's why today I want to talk about self-awareness and how it can be a transformative yet sanctifying process in your life. Self-awareness is the key to growing and evolving. In the Bible, Corinithians chapter 13, verses 5, God says, "Examine yourselves to see whether you're in good faith. Test yourselves." You see, the Bible is calling on each and every one of us to be self-aware. With doing so, we can tap into our God-given purpose, and refusing to do the work ends up just being a disadvantage to the world that we all live in. When God is calling on us to be more, we must answer the phone. He blesses us with the ability to be self-aware so that we can communicate with Him more authentically. How many of us are afraid of what self-awareness can bring? I was, and in fact, I still am sometimes. It can be a really terrifying process, and just because it does take a level of vulnerability, it does not make you weak. Jesus himself was one of the most self-aware people, but he used this as his strength and his anchor. So let's talk about what it takes to actually be self-aware. Reflection. Are you willing to honestly look back at your decisions and assess how they've affected you and those around you? Accountability. Are you willing to hold yourself accountable for those decisions? This can include seeking counsel and surrounding yourself with those who will also hold you accountable for those actions. And trust. The more you engage in self-awareness, the more faith you have in God's plan for you and your own decision making. The practical steps to becoming more self-aware are just right at our fingertips. It starts with being in community, having humility, seeking guidance. Don't be afraid to write down what you're feeling. This is what has been the most helpful for me during this time of growth. I get to write down what I'm feeling and see this journey. This is what holds me accountable. This is what builds my trust. I can see this journey. I can see how I've grown in self. We're gonna face a lot of challenges, and especially during these years of going from high school to college to adulthood, you're gonna face a lot of challenges, but don't let that slow you down. Instead, go out of your bubble and learn more and more about yourself. If there's anything that I've learned, it's that you will most likely never arrive at just one definition of self. In fact, you'll be asking this question to yourself in every single situation, every single day. Honestly, I think I've learned more about myself when I've stepped outside of my bubble and been in contrast. I remember on move-in day, I was met with a roommate who had completely different political views than me. And it was in my nature to retreat and kind of just stay to myself. But I fought against my instinct, and I remembered to trust in God and that everything does happen for a reason. And so once I fought against that instinct, we had an amazing conversation. And if I would have just gone with what felt natural to me, if I wouldn't have sought guidance, if I wouldn't have had humility, I would have strayed away from the very conversation that made us close friends into the very end. Just remember, anything that you can do within your own power is just not big enough. Tap into your God-given power and let Him bring you to that transformative and sanctifying process called self-awareness. Fall in love with that process and fall in love with yourself.